It was, but she has to go.
That's why I asked.
Too much paper here. My copies, their copies, our copies. Good afternoon and welcome to the City of Chester deliberative meeting for Monday, March 10th, 2025. Looking to my left and right, we are all here except for an excused absence from Council Lady West. We have one ordinance, 3 resolutions. Mr. Solicitor, it's all yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. Welcome to the City of Chester deliberative meeting for Monday, March 10th, 2025. The following ordinance is to be voted upon. Bill number 1 of 2025, enacting new Article 519 entitled Impounding Parked or Junk Vehicles to provide for a convenient and regulated towing system for the timely removal of motor vehicles damaged, abandoned, immobilized, illegally parked, or disabled on public rights-of-way or on public or private property within the City of Chester. In addition to the aforementioned ordinance, the following resolutions will be before council for final passage. Resolution 32, authorize the execution of a maintenance and operation agreement with the Chester Economic Development Authority for the Crozier Park section of the Chester Creek Trail. Resolution 33, authorize an amendment to the original agreement with Mid-Atlantic Solid Waste Consultants, LLC, doing business as MSW Consultants, to include professional consultation services to assist in modifying the city's procurement package for curbside trash collection services. Resolution 34, authorize approval to enter into an agreement with Dre Shaw Entertainment Group to provide an artist to perform at the City of Chester Peace, Love, and Unity Festival in an amount not to exceed $20,000. That would conclude the agenda for today's deliberative meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Any questions, comments on the ordinance or resolutions? Council?
Yes, I have a question for R34. Who is the Dre Shaw Entertainment Group, and what things would they be providing for $20,000?
So Dre Shaw Entertainment Group, that is the booking agent and management company for artist Kiki Wyatt. And she is going to be the headliner for the festival, the Peace, Love, and Unity Festival. We're shooting for September the 13th. And so the $20,000 will come from the budget that we allocated for the festival that I wanted to do, which was $25,000, but I'm also going to raise an additional $25,000 to offset the rest of the cost of the festival.
Okay, so this is a Peace, Love, and
Unity
Festival. Do we know anything else about that event? Like, I don't know anything about the event itself.
Yeah, well, it's just coming together. So remember last year, as we was going through the budget season, I asked to do a festival. And so in the budget, we put $25,000 for that festival. And so it's a festival. We're going to do it out here at City Hall,
Okay.
Promoting peace, love, and unity. And we're going to have a headliner. Then we're going to have artists from Chester, different resources. We're going to have vendors. It's going to be a big day downtown.
So that's what the $20,000 is for, not just for one.
The $20,000 is for one person. That's for the artist.
Who Kiki Wyatt? I don't know her.
You don't know Kiki Wyatt?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Y'all
And
gotta
that's
help me out. Like, I don't know
and that's
gospel artists.
and I got her really cheap. Originally I reached out to Drew Hill. They wanted $75,000. I reached out to Jagged Edge. They wanted $65,000, and all of the artists, they was pretty high, and so we got her on a $20,000 all in, including flights, hotel, travel. The only thing we have to provide is ground transportation, and then food in the day of the event. So 20 is pretty cheap. I won't say it's pretty cheap, but it's a really, really good
Good
price.
price.
But once you hear her songs, you'll know exactly who she is.
I feel bad now for not knowing Kiki Wyatt,
She-
now I'm gonna have to Google her.
Yeah, you'll know all of her songs.
How do you spell her last name? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, well.
My kids probably know, and I don't know.
No, you'll know her. Once you hear her songs, you'll be like, oh, yeah. Or if you see her face, you'll be like, yeah. She performs at all the award shows. And, you know, she was on TV shows. She's been in the game for 20 years.
Look for Kiki. Oh, you see me put my head down in shame, I don't know.
Councilwoman was like, is it Kiki Sheard?
Yeah, thank you very much, I know the gospel folks. Let's get her for 20,000.
And the ordinance, and if you can just explain that, just so that everyone knows exactly what that is.
Yeah, let's talk about the boring stuff now. This ordinance would replace Article 519, which Councilman, I gave you a copy of Article 519 just so you have as a reference point. This just adds a lot of additional teeth to that ordinance. I think that ordinance was 4 pages long. This is 20. There's a definition section, so there's no misunderstanding as to how terms are defined, which you should have in most ordinances. It adds minimum requirements and qualifications of towing companies. It adds the process as to how vehicles are to be towed, general regulations, what the prohibited acts are, also the record-keeping requirements when a vehicle is towed. It's something that I know Commissioner Blackwell has looked at closely. Our solicitor, Ken Schuster, has looked at it compared to a number of other municipalities that have similar ordinances. The next step in this process, once this is passed this is the first reading, so obviously we need 2 readings. We would then do, following this, we're proposing to do a resolution that would establish the fee schedule. Once the fee schedule is set by council, the next thing we want to do is an actual RFP for actual towing services. But we want to have this in place prior to actually having an RFP process for a formal towing contract.
And I know for a number of months, or especially since last year, we've been talking about doing the towing contract over there. It currently isn't a towing contract in place.
There is.
There is?
There.
Okay, is it expired or something?
It will expire, it's still got quite a few months left.
It's still got- okay.
The
October,
original had I think there's an extension clause that extends it for a period of time unless either
I think
party
October
cancels it.
expires, but it's gonna take a decent amount of time to enact this, enact the fee schedule, and then issue an RFP and get bids and select the proper vendor, so.
Yeah, no, and I was only saying that because I know that we've been talking about doing an RFP for towing, but it's important that before we do the RFP, that we actually get this ordinance together, because the original towing ordinance is 4 pages, and this is about 20 pages, and it's more defined and more detailed. And so it's important that we get this ordinance together before we can get a fee schedule and the actual towing contract.
Yes, sir. Correct.
And 33, I know the mayor did allude to that at the last meeting, and I believe this is pretty much a consultant company that all they do is work with trash companies or find good trash companies, and I believe this is that contract?
That's exactly what it is. This is Mid-Atlantic Solid Waste MSW Consultants. This is an amendment to the original agreement. Once we had the kickoff meeting with them to look at trash route optimization and street sweeping optimization, most of that conversation centered on, and these are industry specialists. They come from the waste management industry. We talked a lot about the RFP process. As you know, at the end of this year, our garbage contract expires. It's probably one of the most important contracts from a cost basis that we're going to have going forward. These are experts in that industry. One of the things that they clearly indicated to us, the more they talked, is we really need to tighten up on our RFP process once we put the bid specs out for garbage hauling next year. You want to speak the same language as the industry to get the most competitive bids that you could possibly get. So this is a proposal that's in front of council that would provide that professional expertise to help us in preparing the RFP for the bid specs that will go out later this year for the contract that expires at the end of December. York City, for example, just had their garbage contracts come in, 100% increase over their last contract. So how we put this out for bid is going to be, I think, critical.
Mm-hmm. He kept saying, like something was coming next. With regard to the towing language here, I know you were reading it over this morning. There was something about rotations that we're going to kind of delete. Yes. Let's just explain what we meant by rotations and what the intent is.
There was an original draft when we were reviewing it, the commissioner, the solicitor, and myself. There was a section in there regarding towing rotation, that if you had multiple companies that were towing companies that were under contract with the city, there'd be a rotation. We didn't think that that was necessary as part of the ordinance. If you decide to go in that path going forward with having multiple towing contractors in the future, you can do that as part of the RFP process. So we eliminated that section, but when we were doing the second read of the ordinance internally, there were 2 references to the towing rotation subsequent to that section that was taken out. So we're just going to have that language deleted before Wednesday. It's just a technical matter.
Is it necessary to have more than one towing company?
I think those are the conversations we want to have as part of the RFP process when we get to that point.
Okay.
What we put out for bid can be, and how we do that can be discussed through that RFP process.
Yeah, there are multiple ways to handle it, whether it's sole source, whether there's 1 or 2, or rotation basis, but the ordinance will permit the city, based upon the RFP, to select whatever they feel is best. But whether it's sole source, dual, breaking up the city, or on a rotation basis, it'll all be governed by the same ordinance and fee schedule.
Thank you.
But it doesn't have to be in the ordinance.
Yes.
You have that flexibility through that RFP process.
Thanks.
And just for clarity, the current fee schedule, does the city set it or the towing company sets it?
There are certain fees that are technically set by state statute. However, the city really does not have, the city has not updated fees or set a fee schedule in the 14 years that I've been here. So it is incumbent upon us to get a fee schedule. And what we've done is we've searched high and low throughout the entire state with various municipalities to see what other municipalities charge. The purpose of that is, number 1, to make certain that our residents are not overcharged, or whoever has a vehicle towed is not overcharged, but also to make sure that these are competitive rates, because we want to make certain that we have good companies bid on this contract. So they have to make some money, but they can't make all the money. Okay? So we're putting a lot of time into the fee schedule.
All right, my question regarding fees is the existing contract does have a figure for a fee that's something like $45. But that's not what the person is paying when they go pick up their car. So I imagine this is a 3-step process. There's the ordinance, there's the RFP, there's the contract. Is that?
There's the ordinance, there's the fee schedule, then an RFP, which leads to the the contract.
So I missed a step. Okay.
Get them flipped.
So, I mean, ideally, I would love to, once this is all said and done, that a person knows when they pick up a car, how much they're going to pay. Because, if you see a fee for $45, but that's rolled in to all the other towing company charges, 45 turns into 300 pretty fast.
Well, yeah, we walked through this very carefully. The commissioner, Mr. Moore, myself, looked at the other ordinances, and we will make certain that the particular fees that they are permitted to charge are in black and white. And the language in the ordinance does not permit, for instance, what was happening in certain areas was there'd be a hookup fee of $45. And then every time the tow operator had to move the car in the tow yard to get to the car or move another car, there was another hookup fee. So that could amount to $300, as the mayor referenced. So we've gone to great lengths in the definitions to define what charges are permissible. We're also going to recommend that, that there's a handout when a car is towed with the fee schedule, and that at the actual tow center, there be posted a sign with the charges in black and white and clear.
That's required as part of the ordinance.
So
that-
we walked through this carefully because we're well aware of the complaints we get from residents. We're well aware of some of the bills. And just speaking from the solicitor's office, we've spent a lot of time negotiating those bills down over the past years. And it just doesn't work well that way. So it will be delineated very clearly what charges are permissible. Everyone will be aware, from the city to the tow operator to the person who has their car towed.
Here's an amusing one. Section 4H, advertising. I know we're not really going to say this, but it says towing companies must be listed in the Chester classified section of the current published telephone directory. So we're going to strike that, aren't we? It's not going to be in the yellow pages, is it?
It's going to be on the internet, in the yellow pages, wherever people need, our website will.
All right. Well, let's call it that. When I think telephone directory, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
Tom
yellow
Campbell did
pages.
that one. It's a good answer.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if they still make phone books.
No.
put it in the black pages. I think there was one more thing, maybe not. Oh, the 48 hours piece. I probably missed it.
Page are you on there?
Well, it's in here several times that tows are after 48 hours. But I'm sure that's flexible too. Like if we need to tow something in an emergency situation, I wouldn't think, I didn't circle all the 48-hour ones that I saw, but they're in here somewhere.
My understanding is that pertains more to like abandoned vehicles.
Yes, abandons,
But-
private
Yeah,
property.
There are other reasons to immediately tow.
Okay.
Mayor, are you referencing page 2 under definition section for abandoned vehicles?
Probably.
The vehicle has remained illegally parked on a highway or other public
Oh, yeah,
property
here
for
we
more
go.
than 48 hours.
Yeah. And that would be different than, say, an accident.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I think you're required to have notice for an abandoned, by state law.
It defines what an abandoned vehicle is, which
You
is,
can't just say, oh, this is abandoned and tow it that minute. You have to have evidence of how long it was abandoned.
I get it. No, I just know in Atlanta, they tell you, if you break down, you better stay with your car because somebody's going to come and pick it up.
Same in Philadelphia.
yeah, the 48 hours is specific to the definition of abandoned vehicles, which wouldn't impact if a vehicle wasn't in an accident. If it's in an accident, you don't have to wait 48 hours to tow it. So that was just
Or if it
specific.
just breaks down. I mean, that's not an accident, but, you pull over to the side, you go to get help, you come back, your car is gone, and you don't know where it went. That's a situation as
That
well.
wouldn't be abandoned, right? So that wouldn't be abandoned per se.
Not per se, but
No.
the owner abandoned his vehicle to go find help.
Nope.
Somebody will find a loophole.
Commissioner, we were talking about the $8 fee that we have to pay to get signatures or certified. Come to the microphone, please. I'm not sure if that's covered under this ordinance, but what does that apply to again?
No, that is for the, fee that when we send out the letters and notice that the vehicle has been labeled or posted abandoned, gives you like 7 days to reply to the note that you, one, receive notice that the vehicle has these things missing, registration, proof of insurance, those types of things. That's where the, $8 fee is.
So if that's the case, if that certification letter says you have 7 days to move your vehicle, but we're saying here that it can be removed in 48 hours, how does that?
We'll just change it then. It comes also with a letter from CPD stating that. So instead of having the 7 days, we give it 48.
Okay.
I mean, we could change the hours too. If you're not comfortable with an abandoned vehicle being defined as a car that's been, abandoned for 48 hours, you want more time? We could make it 72. That's at your discretion.
Okay.
And I don't think that necessarily there's going to be an automatic tow on the 48th hour. However, it does give them the right to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It could be long, you could let it sit longer, and that would be at the discretion of the police, obviously. So, but in certain circumstances, you want the right to move it quickly.
And Commissioner, I'm sorry, are you saying that it's a letter that's going out?
Certified mail.
Certified mail?
Yeah, guaranteed that the person was made aware. That's it.
And that's required by?
I want to say the state, but I'm not really sure. It's
So-
only been since I've been.
So what if it gets to them and it's the 24 or 48 hours? Because doesn't certified mail go out in like 2 days?
Well, see, that would be the difference here as opposed to the 7 days. Right now, that's what it is. So the 48 will be, will prior to things to change, but right now, that's what we have. The 7 days certified mail, just for notice that your vehicle has been tagged abandoned and you have these things to address. If it's not addressed in a certain period of time, we can come back and go here. So that way people aren't, reporting your vehicle stolen or things like that.
You rattled off some stats at the last council meeting. Do you have an idea how many abandons we tow in a year?
I do not.
Okay.
There's quite a few. There's a running list. It's not something that we become work on this. So, well, there's no damn years today. There's always things there.
I just get concerned with this $8 piece. I mean, it seems like a little bit of money, but if you're towing a lot of cars that are registered, that adds up pretty quickly. If I'm trying to move 10 cars today, that's $80 I got to spend in certified mail. Is there another delivery method that's approved? I mean, it's a small town. Can we just go knock on their door and serve them?
They're approved, but I'm sure it's something that we can come up with as a municipality that's going to pay $8.
Posting is also permitted on the vehicle.
Yeah.
A lot of municipalities do that.
Mayor, on page 15, section 10, notification of removal and impounding due to city request by the next business day from the time of removal of any vehicle illegally parked or immobilized. Notice of the fact that of the removal and impounding shall be sent in writing by the Chester City Police Department to the registered owner of the vehicle. So that's by the next business day with this proposed ordinance.
Okay.
Tom?
But it doesn't say certified either, though, right?
I don't know if that's it doesn't say certified in here. I don't know if it's state statute that requires a certification.
Yeah, let's find out.
I think the certification assures that there's receipt.
Right. Okay, thanks. Any other questions? Anything from the body? No. Do you have anything else to share?
No, that's it. I think moving forward with new ordinances, this is a step in the right direction. We've been like using outdated, questionable ordinances that cause problems, that can be problematic with a whole lot of pressure. So I think moving forward, we'll make our plans.
All right, we got the commissioner's approval, so let's keep on trudging. Is there anything else? If not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Come on.